Hey, it's JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's February 4th, 2026. Gonna switch things up a little bit today since we're in under high pressure ridge and not much is gonna happen over the next couple days besides above normal temperatures getting into the 50s and mostly sunny skies. We're gonna talk about current snowpack. This is a map of all the different watersheds in the Northwest or the Intermountain West and Western states of how much snow water equivalent is in the snowtail sites right now. So if you took all the snow and melted it down, how much water could we squeeze out of it? And this is great for land managers. Mostly, this is funded through the Department of Agriculture to know how much water is going to release in the spring and help with irrigation. Also, it helps forecast floods and some other hazards. So these are just remote weather stations up in the mountains that collect weather data specifically relating to how much snow. So you can see much of the west is under 50% in the red. We're holding in yellow right now, and this doesn't do a great job of showing all of our different weather stations. What we had going on this fall is a lot of above normal temperatures when we were getting a lot of precip. It was falling as rain and not snow, so that doesn't really show this on this map. I'm going to show Galena Summit here. Let's see if I zoom in here a little bit more for you. All right, so we can see the beginning of the year. We actually did have quite a bit of precip, about 4 inches, which was above normal for us. And then really we got hit between December 16th and the 27th, 28th with that big series of atmospheric rivers that pushed out quite a bit of moisture over that short time period. And now we've just been trending in a flatline state with a drought. So I just kind of wanted to look through a series of other years where we've been in a similar drought and kind of forecasts off of those years what might happen with this year. And I haven't included El Nino, La Nina, neutral, and some of the other things that can happen in the atmosphere to forecast this. I'm just going off of weather station information for Galena Summit. So I handpicked a couple 4 years out of this, some on the lower side, some on the higher side of average. I should mention this green line is our running average over 30-year average for this site. It's been collecting data since 1982, but we look at the last 30 years to account for any changes in the climate. All right, so looking at the years, we're currently in the black. So let's kind of break this down. Overall trends, 2 of the years where we had drought, you can see they've all had drought January and February, halfway through February at least. The good news is all these years, we actually started out pretty dang good and got into average by the beginning of January. And then we flatlined through January and February, which is what we're seeing now. And all those years, we had a late season. So we had early season snow, flat lines through much of the beginning period of the winter. And then in March and April, even some years into May, we had storms continue or pick up again, re-engage. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen this year is we're just going to, we're already seeing pattern change for this coming Sunday. It's not looking like a big storm, but it does look like we're above normal. And I do think there is hope for this season. I saw very few seasons looking back on the 60 years of data we have here that showed drought just throughout, or in years where we had a bunch of snow at the beginning, we never really just stayed in a drought the whole rest of the year. It always kind of changed back to getting moisture. So kind of hoping that we, these upper two years, so 2004 to 2005 and 2012 to 2013, we didn't have a huge bump, but it did turn on again in mid-March and got us continuing to be in above average. So I think that's kind of where we want to at least be is in average. It'd be great to get up into this above normal stage, but I just don't know if that's going to quite happen. Other things I kind of wanted to talk about, another reason why I'm going to take a step back and show you this map again and show you within these watersheds what's going on. All right, so this is kind of zoomed in area. I highlighted some of our actual stations where they pick up this information. So you can see some of our water or SNOTEL sites that fall into this zone of how they grab this information are sitting at pretty low elevation. So they received just as much moisture, or maybe not just as much, but a good amount of moisture in the fall. But the problem was we had really above normal temperatures in November and October even. So that is being placed into this basin-wide, looking at the watershed of how much snow is up there. So it doesn't really always do a great justice, like this one too. Garfield Ranger Station is being incorporated in these other ones, like Galena Summit is currently 108%. So we're above normal, slightly above normal right now. And that's just because of all that snow we got early season. So I guess the point I'm making, we did have precip in the fall. We got about 4 inches. If you want to really get into it, before winter started, we had 6 inches of water. But because this is looking at temperature, and I'm kind of hovering over 32 degrees, every day we had high temperatures. Some days in November it was 52, in the 50s. Started out the water year with temperatures at Galena Summit at 56 degrees, so well above normal. And as we continued on, you can see there were some dips, which definitely helped with that big storm, those big atmospheric rivers. We had some cold fronts associated with those that brought us some cooler air here and there, but it really didn't last very long. We've been having pretty above normal temperatures. So anyways, just a little look at Galena SNOTEL site specifically on what's going on with our snowpack. This is, we've had years that looked like this before. As humans, we do a pretty bad job of remembering all these outliers. Thankfully, we have this data out here to revisit and see what actually happened.